Have you ever left a meeting thinking, "Oh, I should have said that, or even worse, why did I say that? That wasn't what I meant." You understand everything, you know your job, you have the ideas, but when it's your turn to speak, your mind goes blank.
And then afterwards, when it's too late, the perfect sentence appears in your head. That's not because you're not intelligent and it's not because your English is bad. It's because pressure changes how your brain works.
In this video, we're going to show you why you freeze in meetings, how to calm your nervous system, and exactly what to say so you sound clear, confident, and professional, even if you feel nervous. I'm Jake, a British English teacher, and I've worked with many professionals who have this exact same problem. They understand everything in meetings, but when it's their turn to speak, something blocks them.
And I'm Camila, a psychologist from Colombia. So today we're not just going to look at the language, we're going to look at what's happening in your mind when pressure affects your performance.
Because often it's not your English that needs work, it's how you respond under pressure. Quick question for you. In meetings, what usually happens to you? Do you freeze, overthink, or lose your words? Let us know in the comments. Let's start with something important. Freezing in meetings is not a grammar problem, it's a pressure problem. When you're in a meeting, especially with senior colleagues, clients, or native speakers, your brain shifts into evaluation mode. You feel watched, judged, or measured.
And when that happens, your nervous system activates. Your breathing becomes shallow, your heart rate increases, your thinking becomes narrower. In psychology, this is called cognitive load. When you're nervous, your brain prioritizes survival over articulation.
Which is why you suddenly can't find simple words like strategy or timeline, even though you use them every day. Your vocabulary hasn't disappeared, but your access to it has been interrupted, and that is a huge difference. Most professionals enter meetings thinking, "I need to perform well," but that mindset creates pressure. When you think you're being evaluated, your brain shifts into defensive mode. Instead, say this to yourself: "I'm here to contribute." Not perform, contribute. That small change reduces internal pressure immediately.
That shift is powerful. When you stop thinking, how am I doing? And start thinking, how can I help? Your focus moves away from yourself. Anxiety grows when you watch yourself too much. It shrinks when you focus on others, and that helps you think more clearly.
The second shift is this: you don't need perfect English, you need clear English. Most professionals try to build complex sentences in their head before speaking, but that internal editing slows you down. And when you slow down under pressure, your brain interprets that as danger.
Perfectionism increases cognitive load. And when cognitive load increases, verbal fluency decreases. So the more you try to sound impressive, the harder it becomes to speak naturally. Clear, simple, structured, that's what works in meetings.
You can't control whether you'll feel nervous, but you can control structure. Structure gives your brain stability, and stability reduces fear.
When the brain recognizes a pattern, it relaxes. A structure becomes a psychological anchor. That's why frameworks are powerful. If this reaction feels familiar, the racing heart, the blank mind, you're not broken. It's a stress response, and that can be regulated.
And that's why we created our Calm Speaking Toolkit. It's designed for professionals who understand English perfectly but struggle under pressure. It includes a short guided reset you can use before meetings. We'll link it below. Let's get practical. If your mind freezes, don't panic. Silence feels long to you, but in reality, it's often 1 or 2 seconds. Instead of rushing, use a holding phrase. These protect your professional presence and give you thinking time. You can say, "Let me think about that for a moment." "That's a good question. I'd like to clarify something first. From my perspective," If I understand correctly, these are natural in British professional environments. They signal thoughtfulness, not weakness.
And psychologically, when you use a holding phrase, you interrupt panic. You create a space. That space prevents escalation of anxiety. It's not just language, it's nervous system regulation.
If you start speaking and get stuck, say, let me rephrase that. What I'm trying to say is, let me put that more clearly. Professionals rephrase all the time. It signals refinement, not incompetence.
Notice the difference between silence and control reset. Silence under pressure feels like collapse. Rephrasing feels like control.
Instead of saying, sorry, in a rushed voice, try, could you expand on that? Just to clarify, are you referring to, could you give an example? That maintains authority.
When you ask for clarification calmly, you reposition yourself as engaged, not confused. That psychological shift matters.
Clarity is not about vocabulary, it's about structure. Use a simple professional framework: context, point, reason. For example, regarding the timeline, I think we should extend it by 2 weeks because the current data isn't complete. Clear, structured, professional.
Structure reduces anxiety because it reduces uncertainty, and uncertainty is what triggers stress responses. When your brain knows what comes next, your nervous system remains calm.
You don't need complex words, you need organized thoughts.
Before you speak, regulate your body. Your body affects your voice more than your vocabulary. Try this. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Box breathing. This lowers cortisol and stabilizes your nervous system.
And if nerves are something you struggle with regularly, we actually include a guided 2-minute reset inside our Calm Speaking Toolkit. It's designed specifically for professionals before meetings or presentations. It's in the description if you want it.
Confidence doesn't come first. Regulation comes first, then clarity follows.
Here's something important. If you wait until you feel confident before speaking, you'll speak less. Speak early in the meeting, even something small. For example, I agree with that. That makes sense. I'd like to add one point. Early participation reduces later anxiety dramatically.
Because anticipation is often worse than action. The longer you wait, the more pressure builds internally. Speaking early breaks the cycle.
You're not trying to dominate, you're trying to be present, and presence builds confidence. Now, let's talk about what happens after. Many professionals replay meetings in their heads for hours. I should have said that, or that sounded wrong. But that mental replay damages confidence long term.
Instead of asking, was I perfect? Ask, was I clear enough? That's a healthier psychological stand. Perfection is unrealistic, clarity is achievable.
You don't need to be the most fluent person in the room, you need to be the clearest, and clarity can be trained. So if you've ever left a meeting thinking, I should have said that, you're not alone. And it's not about intelligence.
It's about how your nervous system responds to pressure, and that can be trained.
If you found this useful, watch our video on how to think in English. It connects directly to this.
Better you,
Better English.